All right, welcome back to LearnWire. I finally decided that it was the right time to create this video. I've switched from a PC to a Mac, and it's been about 3 months. I believe I bought my Mac Studio around in November, and I believe that's like the $2,000 Mac. There's only one more expensive one than that. I think you can spend $3,000 or $4,000 on one, and it just gives you faster speeds and more memory inside of there. But the Mac Studio is a pretty power-packed tool or machine. And so I'm going to go and just go over my experience. Now, mind you, I have used PCs my entire life since middle school. 25 plus years of my life, I have used PCs. I've never had a job where we've had Macs. I've never been in school where I've used Macs, and I've never purchased a Mac before. And so I am fairly new to it. And so you have to keep in mind that when I do have some things I'm going to say that are great about the Mac, or some bad things I'm going to say about the PC, it really comes from I truly am a fan of PCs, and I always will be. And this is just me sharing with you my experience the last 3 months. I'll just say that my PC, I bought a $1,200 gaming PC, was loaded from Costco about maybe 8 months ago, and it didn't even make it a year, and it broke down. And then I think I had a power supply that went out in it, and I couldn't even get some to fix my PC. The part was the PC cabinet or profile was a slim, small profile. So then the parts inside of it, including the power supply, were not the normal size that you can just go to Amazon and order. And so I would have to order it from like China and do all these different things. And I'm just like, so I just bought this computer and I can't fix it. So that really sucked. And I had already gone through a couple PCs in the last 5 years as well. And so it really started becoming all so frustrating to the point where I was willing to do anything I could. And that was including trying out a Mac. Okay. So that's like the backstory. Well, let's get started. So I'm going to go with the PC pros. Feel free to leave comments below, guys, if you're like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, I agree with that. Just try to be as respectful as you can be. I know that this is a massive debate, probably one of the biggest debates, Pepsi versus Coke, PC versus Mac. This debate, passionate debate, will probably go on forever and so forth. But I'm just sharing my experience because now I can truly say that I've gone full time onto a Mac for the last 3 months, and I can share with you the positives and negatives of both. So here's PC pros: the massive flexibility that it affords you. All apps work or are available on PCs. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mean that apps that are built specifically for Apple, like in the App Store on Apple, that those are available on PC. I don't mean that. I'm talking about universal apps that you use on a daily basis on a PC, or just in general. Apps are built for PCs first, usually, when you go, and even yesterday I was looking at an app and I was on AppSumo and I was like, oh, here's a screen recorder, and it's only built for Windows. Most of the time, 90% of the time, you don't see applications that are launched that are just for Macs that like go worldwide or go public, right? Unless they're just specifically aimed and built for a Mac and they're available on the Mac store. I'm talking about applications that are built for the masses are usually going to be built for PCs. And I found that to stay true, as that is one of the things that I've just noticed, is that just way more flexibility and way more apps for the PC. Familiar. So PC is very familiar to me, and it's what every single job I've ever had uses. So switching back and forth sucks. So if you're on a Mac all day and then you got to get on a PC, and just the little things like the closing windows in the Macs and so forth, of course, it has to be on the upper left-hand side. And then when you're in a PC, everything is on the right-hand side, right? Literal, just simple things like that. Steve Jobs literally did everything completely the opposite of what you do on a PC because he wanted to be unique and do his own thing. And I don't fault him for that, but it does suck moving back and forth between the two. And then we have installing microphones and apps. It's just easier on a PC. I'm not going to really go into that, but it is That can be a massive pain, especially if you're trying to get something that is not really supposed to work on a Mac and trying to like do workarounds and so forth. It's just really not ever going to work properly. I'm so glad that Mac has made it available to be able to use Office products, Microsoft Office and so forth because I know that back in the day, 10 plus years ago, you had to install, I forgot what it's called, Parallels, whatever it was called, that you basically put a Windows operating system on a Mac machine just to use those products and so forth. And then it defeats the purpose of having a Mac anyways. So I'm just glad that they finally worked it out. I don't know the backstory behind it, but they definitely work. There's Mac versions of Office Suite and tools because I'm just so used to using like PowerPoint and Microsoft Word and so forth. Not as much anymore. I've pretty much just used Google Docs, and this right here, this presentation's in Google Slides and so forth. So not as much anymore, but still it's nice that that's available. I'm glad that's available. But I do think that just installing microphones and just doing the little hardware things and compatibility, let's just say compatibility is a lot easier on a PC in my opinion. And you can upgrade your machine if you want. You run out of memory, you can just go down and you can order some more memory, open up the cabinet and throw it in. Pretty cool. It's like you can take your car to the shop and get it upgrade. You can put a turbocharger in it if you want. You can add a way better graphics card. And I'm not even going to talk about gaming and so forth. Gaming is definitely going to be, if you're a gamer, you're going to have to get a PC, and that's just straight up. I think even Mac users will definitely agree with that. It's just a Mac is not really built for, it doesn't have a massive graphics card in it and so forth. So yeah, definitely with gaming, PC is going to win for sure. But multiple monitors is super easy and encouraged on PCs. The last few PCs that I've had, whether they're custom builds or just the Lenovo's built from the store, like the one I got it from Costco, is $1,000, $1,200 or something like that. It was a gaming PC. It was a Lenovo. And it has multiple inputs it has multi-monitor support, meaning that the graphics card, you can plug in multiple cords and monitors to the graphics card. The graphics card can support multiple monitors, and that is just something that the PC is going to win every time. I don't even think the Mac, this Mac Studio, I spent $2,000 on this machine, and it doesn't even have a way or ability to hook up another monitor. We'll get to that in a little bit, but monitors on the Mac, adding multiple monitors, you have to think outside the box. You've got to go research. You got to go to YouTube and figure it out. You got to buy a special cord, and Macs are not designed. They're designed for one screen and one monitor, and PCs encourage having multiple monitors. And that's why if you go to what do you call those at the airports, the people that work and watch the flight monitors, and they'll have 20 screens at once and stuff, those are going to be PC based. Those are not going to be Mac based. So just telling you, if that doesn't tell you anything right about the monitor situation. And then we have hard drive or disk space plug and play just works on Macs just works on PCs. Macs is not the case. My story with this is when I had a terabyte or 2 terabytes worth of hard disk space on a hard drive that was plugged into my last PC. I thought I'd be able to just grab that and throw it in, hook it up to my Mac, and that was not the case. There's just compatibility issues. It just didn't work. And so that really sucks. So then you have all this data and you have no way you got to map it to a Mac, and there's all these workarounds in order to get it to recognize it. You can't just plug it in. You can't just plug in a hard disk that you've been using on your PC and then just plug it into your Mac. It doesn't work like that. So those are some of the things that I've noticed. But PC pros, again, just switching, you could grab someone's hard drive on another PC and grab it and hook it up to your PC, and it's just going to work just fine. And it just seems to just be, even if you did that with a Mac, you would have to have like their password and stuff. And so that's just something that was something that I noticed, that it's easier on a PC. Let's go to Mac Pros. So it's going to be all the opposites from PCs, right? So yeah, it ended up being true. No noises, no crashes. So we went over the PC pros. Okay. We have the no noises, no crashes, no crashing, no restarting all the time. And those are some of the things those are like the biggest highlights and wins for me, is that I always had trouble with that. And that is just a massive plus. I'm probably going to put that up there with that's the number one reason to get a Mac is there's no fan noise. There's no nothing. It doesn't crash on me. Actually, I can tell you this right now, in 3 months, my Mac has never crashed one time. That's a fact. And I've left my Mac on literally for 3 months. Yeah, I've restarted it a couple times or I've turned it off, but it pretty much runs full time. It just goes to sleep and then I just wake up. If you think about like your phone or an iPad, it's just always on. All the apps are ready to go. They're fired up. You can have dozens of apps running at the same time. It slow it down. Those kind of things are really cool. Just straight up is on all the time and works like a charm. Absolutely. That part is super, super cool. It's just ready to work. It's just ready to rock and roll. I feel like I get more work done without all the physical machine issues with my PCs. In my last PCs, they sounded like I was in a server room. That's how bad the noise was. It was just awful. This could even impact you if you're recording videos for a living like I do, where I've just literally, you can go and buy a quiet, quote unquote, quiet PC and it still turns on, kicks on, it's loud all the time. And those things just don't happen with a Mac. So that's a huge pro, especially if you're recording voiceovers or videos. The most important function I need in my business is a working machine that is consistent, and the Mac has been that for me. Longevity, reliability, it's not even close of an argument. The Mac is just going to last longer. People still sell Mac and so forth that are like 10 years old and they're still getting $300 for them and they still work. That is not the case with PCs. Like I said, I've purchased $1,000 PCs that break in 8 months and don't work anymore. Yes, we can change the part out and so forth, but I'm talking about something that doesn't break and doesn't need fixed. Mac is going to last way longer and it's going to be more reliable. We're talking about, for example, here's a great scenario. Let's say a PC is like a souped up Camaro. It's going to be, at the end of the day, can potentially be faster. And then you have maybe your Mac is your Subaru, Toyota, or Honda, and it's just going to outlast. It's going to get 200,000 miles on it. And a lot of American-made vehicles are going to be lucky if you see 120,000 miles on them. So that's the best analogy that I'd have, is that the Mac would definitely be the longevity machine in comparison for sure. So PC cons, let's start with the obvious ones. Crashing all the time, doesn't matter how old or new the machine is. This is just something that you get used to with a PC. And it's super funny because I know that a lot of you, and you're smart people, and you use PCs. Remember, try to cut me some slack. I used PCs for over 25 years, so I'm preaching to the choir, but let's just face it and just be honest. Your PC crashes all the time. It's going through updates all the time. It freezes. You get overheating, right? It overheats, and loud fan noises was one of my biggest pet peeves. I hated it. And you have your shutting down or restarting during important things, or just surprising you when you walk away and lose your work. And then multiple times a day would freeze on me. I would have to manually close programs on a daily basis. What is it? You have to go in and open up your manual program process and then click on it and then say close program. And then you guys know that sometimes, even when you go to that and you say close program, it's so frozen or bad, that doesn't even work. And then what do? You end up having to restart your computer. And so it's just crazy. Those are the biggest PC cons. And notice that they're all really primarily have to do with just the overall machine running, the engine running flawlessly or running smoothly. And then another thing, they just don't last long at all. And this is my experience. I know that we're going to have some people in the comments that say, I've had my PC for 12 years and it's running like a charm. You know what? Out of 8 billion people in the world, there's not going to be very many people that are like that have PCs that have been running for forever. Even when you have a PC that is running that long, you would have already had to have changed out all of the hardware in it in order for it to keep up with the new Windows operating programs. We're looking at over 10 years ago when we had Windows, before even Windows 7. What are we on? Windows 11 or even further than that? But before all that, when we had, Windows XP a long time ago. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Windows XP was one of the best ones that operating systems that Windows ever created. And then remember, right after that, they came out with Windows Vista, and that one sucked really bad. And then Windows 7 came out and it was decent, and Windows 10, not so good. Then Windows 11's back to being good. It's the consistency's not good. We're always like, oh, this one was better than that one. But at the end of the day, if you have a computer that's over 10 years old as a PC, in order to run Windows 11, so first of all, Windows XP wouldn't be supported anymore. So it would be stupid to run that on your computer. And then two, you would have to have all the hardware and everything. The speed of your computer would not be able to keep up with Windows 10, 11, and so forth. And so like that argument is out the door that you had your PC for that long either. That's just my experience. They don't last long. And then the Mac cons, I'm going to show some examples too in here, but several apps that I want to use just don't work on the Mac, even if they have the Mac version. Let me show you ScreenPal, nothing but issues. All right. So I'm going to push escape right here. We're going to go in here and I'm going to go to applications. And I'm going to show you, this is ScreenPal. And if we actually go to ScreenPal, they will show you that they have a Mac version. Obviously, if it's made its way to this point, it has a Mac version of the app. Watch what happens if I double click on this. The application ScreenPal can't be opened. And believe me, and I have uninstalled this and tried several times. It doesn't work. But guess what? So this is just crazy. And I'm not going to go and reach out to them and tell them it's not working, because then they're going to look at it on a case-by-case basis and say, oh, it's just not working for you and all that stuff. I don't have time for that. I need apps that just work. And so this was one of my favorite screen recording softwares, and I can no longer use it because it's inconsistent and it doesn't do well on the Mac. Now, here's my workaround. I right click, I show package contents, I go in here, I go into app, and I can't open the app, but sometimes I can double click on ScreenPal tray and then it will open up sometimes, right? But then it just has not, it's been lackluster and it crashes a lot. And so that's just a software that was one of my favorite softwares. And even though they have a Mac version of it, I'm not able to use it, okay? And then another thing is that I wanted to share was this Wondershare Filmora. I had installed that. Do I still have that one in here? We'll come in here, apps, and I'm going to double click. I'm going to open this one up and show you. So this is Filmora for Mac right here. And it's opening up. It's the Mac version of this, right? And when we come in here and we want to go into a new project, and I want to use this on my Mac, well, check out what ends up happening. I want to push record, and then look, record from webcam. They're okay with you recording from a webcam. They're okay with you recording a voiceover. But when I say record PC screen, nothing happens. We go to try to access this. We push on this. We come over here, and then look, there's no Filmora over here for me to turn on right over here. So this is another disconnection and another example of Filmora probably has 90% of their customers using it for PC. And a lot of the attention, it just falls by the wayside when it comes to Mac development. And this is just a fact. I've noticed it. I'm going to show you some Camtasia reasons as well. But you miss out. Filmora probably doesn't even know that this is the case, that this is happening, right? So I can't use their app. I cannot use their app on a Mac, even though they say they have a Mac version. Again, these are big softwares. And then we have ScreenPal, big screen recording softwares that just don't work on a Mac, okay? So those are a couple of them. And then we're gonna go over this. Camtasia's Mac version has some really inconvenient things like the pan and zoom, could not find it. Then it is a pop-up. So we come in here to Camtasia, open up a project. And then if I go over here and with PC, you'd be able to come over here and it was always under visual effects. And then it was like the first one up here, or it was under animations. And then there was a little segment right here. It said pan and zoom, and you would click on it and it would all function right here. And it was super easy. For those of you that use Camtasia on a PC, you know how easy it is to use on a PC. But guess what? I spent a lot of time. I couldn't find it. Where the hell is the pan and zoom? Finally had to go and find a YouTube video or something that finally let me know that, oh, it's actually up here. You got to go to edit. Then you got to go to zoom and pan every time. And look, I don't even see a shortcut for this. Look, we go over here. I don't even see a shortcut when I hover over this. There's no way. Look at these are the shortcuts on the right-hand side. There's no shortcut. So I got to go up here. You're telling me to pan and zoom. I got to go up to edit and come over here and do this. And then it shows up as a pop-up. This is just ridiculous, right? And this is how you would zoom in. And it's just not, user friendly, right? So you'd go like that. And then you have this pop-up right over here. And it really makes using Camtasia not that fun either inside of the Mac. Now I want to go over one other thing, and I think that's the only time I need to pop out of the presentation, is that when I'm doing my presentations or creating videos, this is the part that I don't like. Look how giant this toolbar is right here. That is taking up, it's got to be taking up 8 to 10% of the entire length or height of the screen is just this menu bar. And the only way to shrink it down, I've already looked, unless you guys can give me some pointers on this, there's no way in settings to shrink this toolbar down. It shrinks down a little bit as you add a ton of apps to it. And that's ugly and inconvenient too, having to add 100 apps to the bottom just to make it smaller. And so that part I don't like. And then this space up here as well, this blue space, the file and the history and view and the time and all that. Those are things that on a PC are just all conveniently down here, and you have a lot of options on making the toolbar small or big or whatever you want to do. You just have a lot more flexibility with a PC in that respect. I don't like how I just feel like 10+% of the screen is being taken up, and you have less real estate right here. And another thing is like when you come over here, you can enter full screen. Don't get me wrong. I know you can enter full screen, but then when you're in here and I want to move back and forth between screens, or I want to get to the calculator, I got to come over here, hover over, and then it kicks you out again. And then while you're doing presentations on the fly and you're trying to be fast at stuff, this is the kind of stuff that becomes annoying, the navigation part. Because then I'd be like, okay, cool. Now I want to go back in. So then you would have to go in and you'd have to go and click on this and go back to full screen. And then you would be able to go and switch between screens and stuff. But then as soon as you want to go do something else or go, oh, I want to go over here and go to something else, it's going to kick you out again. And so those are just some of the things that I've noticed that I really don't like. Okay. So I'm going to get back in here. So I went over the Wondershare. I hate how much real estate is taken up. You can read that part right over there. I went over that as well, showed you a live example of that. I can use full screen, but then bouncing in and out of the full screen mode sucks balls and is a no-go for me, okay? So overall navigation is not that great and is hard to get used to from being a 25-year PC user. I'm sure a lot of you guys would agree with that. But at least I tried, right? At least I also went from, a lot of people are just PC based and they're like, PC's the best and stuff, but then they actually never really used a Mac for 3 months like this. So they wouldn't really know these details unless you actually did it. Camtasia's Mac version sucks, I guess. Little things like this happen all the time and just suck. No multi-monitor, got to figure out so many workarounds on Macs. I still have a monitor right next to me that I was using on my PC, and then I haven't had this hooked up yet. You've got to get a flash. What is it? A flash to and then there's ways to hook up a Mac, but then I don't even, from the videos that I've watched, that it's not even that seamless. It's not even that great. So not really looking forward to that. So for the last 3 months, I've been just going with one screen. And there's studies and statistics that show that having a dual monitor can increase your work productivity by 30%. Even just if I wanted to record myself on a video and have on my right-hand screen, so I could have what I'm doing over here, and then I can have on my right-hand screen a timer, and on my right-hand screen can be my outline of what I want to say. You can't, that's just a basic reason to have another monitor as a content creator and so forth. And a lot of times, at all my jobs over the last 10 years, you would have your main thing that you're working on, like your Excel spreadsheet over here or software that you're working in. And then on your other monitor, it would be like where you have your emails and so forth, right? So you don't have to go and dig through and try to find and then go to different tabs and all that to find your email. You just know your email is on that computer, and you can segment the different softwares to different screens, and your brain becomes accustomed to it. And it really does increase efficiency. And that has been a bummer that I haven't really been able to do that on a Mac. The mounting apps is just dumb. And when you go in there, you'll see that that there's different apps that decide that they need, or hard drives that need mounted, and then they don't, you drag and drop and try to do what it tells you to do. And then the next time you restart, it doesn't work. So those are some things that kind of are inconvenient, and that it hasn't been 100% perfect, right? Mac doesn't really have it perfect as well. So those are just some things. That was a long list. Those are the idiosyncrasies of the Mac, especially coming from a PC, that I don't like. And then Excel sucks with Macs. Menu, can't find what I need. Just different things that I try to do, they just don't work. Well, let's see if I can actually show one of the examples. If I come in here. So if I actually come in here and I want to do a drop down, I'm going to right click right here and then look, pick from drop down list. Nothing happens. See? So these are some things that just people don't talk about. But look, I've got Excel on here. I want to right click and I want to pick from drop down. Nothing happens. It should allow me to create, like in Google, in a Google sheet, you're able to click something like that and then easily create and so forth. And just little things like that. You've got to go over here to data. And let's say if I went to a data validation, this was hard to find out how to just do some basic data validation. I had to come in here, list, and then go and select. So sometimes just the way that that it looks is complicated and hard to find things. But Excel has not been that great for me, but still better than definitely the native one that comes with app. Absolutely would never use that. Okay, so we're going to go to conclusion. Neither of them are perfect. Both of them have advantages and disadvantages. If you work with a lot of other businesses or work in an office, I think a PC is still going to be the best choice. The sheer convenience and flexibility you lose with a Mac will be extremely frustrating for you. If you work by yourself like I do, then a Mac might be your best choice. If you are a full-time content creator and or create videos and render videos for a living like I do, sometimes 3 to up to 10 videos in one day I've done, a Mac is superior with video editing, video rendering, and just straight up working. Of course, you have to find the one that's going to work for you and so forth, but that is going to be definitely... It's just better than a PC. If you don't like a noisy machine, then go with the Mac. Quiet as a mouse, makes zero. It's not like there's a little bit of noise or something like that. It makes zero noise. There's just not a peep out of it. It's like a mouse. It's just amazingly quiet, super awesome for thinking. And you're not sitting here just listening to this loud machine, which was just awful for me. Overall, I was able to adjust to the Mac and get all my daily tasks done for my business. It has increased my productivity from a content creation standpoint, which that's the most important thing in my business, right? Do I miss PCs? Hell yes, I do. Especially when the app I want is not available or not working 100% for my Mac. But again, neither machine is perfect. But yes, I do reminisce. I do miss some things about the PC. Absolutely. But the trade-off and the sacrifice of the things I liked with PCs is worth it on a Mac. No noise, no constant updates or shutting down without asking me. And my machine, Mac, just simply works. Every time I come into my office, it's ready to work. And that was absolutely not the case with my PC. I spent a lot of time having to fix my computer, or, oh, damn it, it's not turning on today. It decided it's not even going to turn on. And then guess what? You come back a couple of days later, you do the exact same thing, you push the button, and then it decides that it turns on. So it's literally like a car that doesn't start. And I've experienced that several times on several different PCs. So this is the big one. Which one's going to help me get the most work done? And so far, I'm impressed with what the Mac is able to allow me to do on a daily basis. Do I like Apple products? No. So this should be the most unbiased, or if I had a bias, it would actually be for PCs. I absolutely can't stand Apple products. I even tried to get an iPhone 2 years ago. I was like, cool, I'm going to try. Everybody has an iPhone, my family and so forth. And I went and I got one and I took it back in 3 days. I did give it a full proper evaluation, really tried to do, and it didn't work for business. I wasn't able to do things that I wanted to do. And I took it back. I took the damn thing back and got my Samsung Galaxy, and that's just the phone that I love. And I'm not like a fan of Apple and iPods and iPads and all that stuff. I'm not. And so that should give me a little bit more credibility on this presentation on that I am enjoying my Mac as far as from a work standpoint. I still have my Android phone and I'm very happy with it. So just so you know, I am aware that PCs are cooler and more flexible at many things. Of course, I get that. There's going to be a lot of people in the comments that are like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this. You're locked down, you're trapped by Apple. Those are the things that I don't like about Apple. Absolutely, that you're trapped in their ecosystem and so forth. 100%, you're preaching to the choir. I get that. Bottom line, me going into, this is the most important part of the presentation, me being able to go into my office on Monday through Friday and get shit done. I have enjoyed the Mac and it has been a good thing. I believe I'm getting more work done because of the Mac from a work standpoint. So will I stick with a Mac or go back to a PC? Honestly, still undecided. I will always have a place in my heart for a PC, but now I just care about functionality and longevity, and right now the Mac wins for me and my business needs. So what do you think, guys? Are you a Mac or PC person? Do you agree, disagree? What did you think of what my findings were? Yes, this is a dangerous question. As I know, if you are a PC person, you will fight and defend to the death. Probably the same for Mac people as well. They're just as passionate about Macs. Don't worry. Remember, 25 plus years I've been on a PC. And I just had to make a change because I got tired of the noise, got tired of the shutting down, got tired of the unreliability of my PCs. And that's why I made the change. So overall, it hasn't been that bad. There's some things you just got to live with. I think that if you were a Mac person and you went to PC, there's going to be some things that you're like, oh, damn, you don't have GarageBand. You don't have this. You don't have that. It doesn't really matter. Both machines have their advantages, have their disadvantages. At the end of the day, do I feel like I'm getting more work done with my Mac? Yes. And that's the bottom line. That's the most important part for me. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This is a lot longer presentation than I wanted it to be, but this was the ins and outs of making the big switch. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you guys. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.